We have some more NHL signings to report on here today, including a couple of signings by the Buffalo Sabres, the Arizona Coyotes, as well as a professional tryout for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're going to know all the latest coming up next. So welcome back here to Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some more breaking news from around the NHL, including some restricted free agents signing new contracts, as well as another professional tryout announced here by the Leafs. So let's first get started with the Buffalo Sabres, with two very important restricted free agent signings here for today, including goaltender Linus Ullmark, who's come to terms on a one-year contract with $1.325 million. Of course, he was a restricted free agent with arbitration rights, and they've come to terms here on a one-year deal. That will make Ullmark a restricted free agent again at this time next year. So we'll see how things work out for him. I know the goaltending situation in Buffalo has been a little bit shaky. It's not quite clear what their plan is for the future. Obviously, they also have Carter Hutton here in the mix. And I do think young goaltender Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen very well could be the goalie of the future. So it's probably good for them to have their other goalies on shorter-term deals to see how he progresses here. But hopefully with all the other moves that the Sabres have made, we see some improvement this year. Obviously last year they got off to a great start and things kind of really fell off there. If they're going to make real progress and battle for a playoff spot, their goaltenders like Ullmark and Carter Hutton are going to have to come up big for them. So we'll see if he can earn this $1.3 million contract extension and how things work out between him and the Sabres for the coming season. They've also come to terms with RFA defenseman Jake McCabe on a 2-year contract worth $2.85 million. Now heading into the arbitration hearing, which won't actually end up being required here, they were quite a ways apart. The team was offering, it looks like, around 1.95, and he was looking for around 4.3. So obviously the team certainly gets closer to what they were looking for. I do think the 4.3 was a very much a major overvaluation if that number was accurate. That was being reported yesterday by Elliot Friedman. But obviously they bridge that gap and come to terms here. But Jake McCabe really at best is going to be a third pair defenseman. You don't want to be paying like your bottom six forwards and your third pair defense too much. So really, overall, this is a decent deal for McCabe. But even then, you could say it's a little bit of an overpayment. I'm not sure that they really want to be spending this much money on a player like this. But either way, he's under contract for the next couple of years. And it's not too bad to deal with. But signing these two players do put the Sabres now over the cap. They're over the cap by approximately $1 million. So we very well might see a move come out of the Sabres. Sabres are not completely stuck here as well. Once the season gets underway, they are not going to be with defenseman Zach Bogosian for the first while. He is going to miss the start of the year. So they could put his $5 million contract on LTIR and create some space that way if they wish. But of course, that's only going to be a short-term temporary plan. Once he's ready to return, they would then need to make other additional moves. So it wouldn't be surprising to see the Buffalo Sabres turn out to make a trade. Of course, we've talked about the Sabres a lot in some of our recent trade rumor videos. Their name's been coming up quite a bit here, especially defenseman Rasmus Ristolainen. But usually the rumors around Ristolainen have involved them trading him to bring back another top six forward, so they really wouldn't be losing much in the way of salary where Ristolainen's making a healthy amount here as well. So overall, we could see some moves out of the Sabres, or they could use the LTIR come the start of the year if they haven't quite figured that out as of yet. The Arizona Coyotes have come to terms with goaltender Adin, who was a restricted free agent and has decided to accept and sign his qualifying offer. Last year he had earned $725,000. Didn't play too bad when he had a chance to play. Obviously, over the last couple of seasons, the Coyotes' goaltending situations had to battle through a lot of injuries, and he has had a limited amount of time to come up and play in the NHL, so he hasn't done too badly. So he's a pretty decent third-string goaltender for them. Likely will play a big role in their American Hockey League affiliate here, but we'll see here how Adin can do for another season. He will then once again be a restricted free agent next summer. Now, the Toronto Maple Leafs have signed 33-year-old forward Matt Reed to a professional tryout agreement. Of course, that does not guarantee him a contract at all, but it gives him the opportunity to attend training camp with the Leafs and see if he can earn himself a roster spot, or they may even end up offering him a two-way deal or maybe something for the American Hockey League to play with the Marlies. Their Marlies team have certainly lost a little bit of experience, some players leaving, some turnover, guys going to graduate to the NHL, so they could certainly use an experienced guy like him to go down there and help that team out. So if nothing else, it might turn into that. but obviously the 33-year-old winger has had a fair bit of success at the NHL. After his rookie year with the Flyers putting up 24 goals, he really wasn't able to top that. He did have one other 20-goal campaign with the Philadelphia Flyers, but then after that kind of struggled and became more of a bottom six player, kind of went up and down between the NHL and AHL, played with the Minnesota Wild last year, but it really didn't do a whole lot. Did well with their American Hockey League affiliate when he had a chance to play there, but the NHL hasn't really seen a lot of Matt Reed over the last couple seasons, so we'll see here. Obviously, the Leafs have a lot of guys under contract now with the forward group, plus they have some other prospects battling for spots, so it's certainly going to be interesting to see how the Leafs proceed, if he can get himself on the roster or not. But either way, it's an extra body in training camp, and we'll see how things work out between the Leafs and Matt Reed moving forward. And with all these other signings, that only leaves a couple more restricted free agents with arbitration rights that are still unsigned. And those hearings are set for today, August the 4th, so it should not be long before we have contracts for the remaining guys, which is defenseman Joel Edmondson of the St. Louis Blues, who was reportedly looking for over $4 million as well. Not sure he's going to get that, so we'll see if him and the Blues can bridge that gap and come to terms, likely on a shorter-term contract. And there's also goaltender Anton Forsberg with the Carolina Hurricanes, who they had acquired earlier this offseason. I would think that they should be able to resolve that fairly quick. He was looking for around $835K, and I believe they were closer to $725, $750, or something along those lines. So they should be able to bridge that gap and get him signed. More likely it will be a two-way deal. Obviously, with the goaltenders they have, Mrazek and Reimer, he's not likely going to earn himself an NHL opportunity, but does provide, third, fourth string insurance should there be some injuries. But of course, they also have goaltender Alex Nedeljkovic as well, who in my opinion has at least earned an opportunity to get in some action. So we'll see how things go, but those two will likely be your American Hockey League affiliate goaltenders for the Hurricanes. So I think Forsberg should be able to be signed here shortly, but him and Edmondson still have arbitration cases outstanding. We'll see if their teams and themselves can come to terms and maybe avoid them, but they're coming up here real soon. So we should have news either way on a contract in the very short term. So that is all your latest NHL signings for today. Of course, as always, want to know your thoughts and opinions on these deals down in the comment section, and we can continue the conversation. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and turning on your notifications so you don't miss any future content. We'll keep you all up to date with all the latest news from around the NHL. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.